Oh man, what is going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing okay. You can see I'm back. Anyway, man, this has been a interesting start to a playoff season, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Like the New York Knicks went out there and they surprised us all by having an incredible fourth quarter in game one on that 21-0 run. Incredible shooting by Campaign, fantastic defense by Carl Anthony Towns, as well as OG Anunoby on Cade Cunningham. But it's been one of those things. Like we had to see what's going to happen in game two. Will the Knicks be able to continue to build off the momentum of that 21-0 run? Will Carl Anthony Towns continue to play that style of defense that he was so successful with in the game one? And will the Knicks continue to flow offensively, picking up from that fourth quarter, going into game two, or will Detroit's desperation and their willingness to get this series tied win out in the end? Those were all the questions we had to answer coming into tonight's game. And I think we already know the answer. Detroit definitely came out strong with a purpose. There's a lot of things to chop up on today's show. There's some good stuff that the Knicks displayed, some bad stuff that the Knicks displayed, and some interesting stuff that Detroit did in order to stabilize the series and kind of bring it back to even Steven. We're going to talk about it all, man. I got a special guest host with me tonight, filling in for John. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I think you guys should be as well. Let's go.
Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, New York, go. Say go, New York, go, new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City uniform, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
You see it, we back, baby. Yes, I am back at home base. I am here, joined by the one and only Jay Chosen. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you for being here, chopping it up with me. Appreciate you.
Of course, man. I appreciate the invite, of course, and always love chopping it up with you on one of the best shows, if not the best show on for the Knicks talk. So it's a lot to get talking about, huh?
Yeah, man. It's oh boy. Oh man. Well, listen, man. Look, we knew it wasn't going to be. First off, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew it wasn't going to be a cakewalk. There's one thing to say that you feel like your team is going to win each game. It's another thing to say that you feel like they're going to dominate. And I don't think any of us feel like, noticing how Detroit played this season, that the Knicks were really going to be able to dominate them. Now, I do still think, remember, nobody's been proven wrong here. A lot of us said, well, not a lot, but there's some of us that said 4-0 or 4-1. We're still on pace for 4-1. And I still believe that the Knicks will win this series 4-1. It's just that they just have to clean up some things. And they also have to figure out better ways to conduct their offense. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, and you'll understand why I'm saying that. You guys might have your own opinion in the chat. I'm sure Jay has his opinion about what he saw and what he thinks the Knicks could do better, or what he think they did wrong. Either way, I'll talk about it. First, let's give a quick shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to Lena Franklin in the building. What up, Lena? Let's go. We got 713 Gamer in the building. What's going on, my guy? Appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army. Shout out to Andios NYK in the building. What up, Andios? Appreciate you, brother. Shout out to Luna Jean. Appreciate you, Luna. Let's go. We got Craig in the building. Appreciate you, Craig. We got Manny here. What's going on, Manny? Yeah, that's terrible. That's like you could tell something's wrong if the Knicks only got 15 assists. That is terrible.
One person.
Yeah, it's just terrible. Double D's in the building. What up, Double D? Appreciate you. George Jones is here. Salute. L, damn it, is in the building. We back, baby. Salute, L. Appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army, as always. Shout out to Joey Rip 'em Up Sports. Appreciate you, my guy. As you can see, we've got everybody's starting to join in. Appreciate you guys. Coach Sire in the building. What up, Coach? Good to see you. 5 Adam is here. Salute, 5 Adam. He said Detroit lost first game after leading because turnover and missed shots. Yeah. I mean, well, the turnovers were big. I mean, we definitely capitalized on all their mistakes. But let's not forget, we capitalized on their mistakes, and we forced a lot of those turnovers. Were they sloppy with the ball? Of course they were. Could they have played better? Yes. But did we force the issue? We did. So it was a little different on the defensive end in that first game. Let's do this. Why don't we take a look at the box score and see what's what, all right? And then we can talk about what it all looks. Because I'll be honest, I don't even know who scored what. I just know Brunson looked like he had a good game. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what it looked like as well. Let's take a look. All right, so let me drop this down. All right. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger for everybody. Just blow it up the sides. Yeah, a little better. Okay, let's see. So, and let me reset this because I don't think it was updated. Oh, it was. Oh, my bad. I spoke too soon. Okay.
You're going to be very interested in reading this.
Oh, boy. Okay, so, well, first off, starting with Detroit, Tobias Harris had 15 points, 13 rebounds. I mean, listen, you guys know, let me tell you something. The knockout, look, you young whippersnappers may not know this, but us people have been watching basketball for a while. We know Tobias Harris. He's been in the league for many years. And the knock on him is that he doesn't play well in the playoffs. But I got to tell you, so far, these first 2 games, Tobias has come to play. Just putting that out there. He's definitely done what's been asked of him. Okay, so then you got Asor Thompson, 5 and 5. All right, nothing too crazy there. Jalen Duren, 12 and 13. That's Mr. Double with 3 blocks. I mean, that's what you would expect from him. Yeah. Cade with 33 points, 12 rebounds. He killed my parlay because I thought he'd get 6 or 7 assists, and he had 3. He said he called his number tonight, folks. So shout out to Cade for calling his own number. Wow, I did not expect Dennis Schroeder to finish with 20 points, but okay. None bigger than that 3-point shot that he hit. Oh, man.
You mean the wide open, that one?
The one that Jalen Brunson basically gave him. I guess Jalen was like thinking he's not going to hit it, but you can't do that. You can't do that. No, you can't. You just can't do it. All right, now let's look at these Knicks. 10 points for OG Anunoby. 10 points for Josh Hart. Yep. Well, 10 and 5 for OG. With 2 assists and 2 steals. 10 and 7 rebounds and 5 assists for Josh, 1 steal. 10 points for Karl Anthony Towns, 6 rebounds, 1 block. Man, he destroyed my parlay too, but that's neither here nor there. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals for Mikal Bridges. Wow. 37 points for, I didn't even think he had that many. 37 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. Let me tell you something. Let me say something real quick. I am shocked. One, I didn't think Jalen Brunson had 37, but whatever. I'm shocked that he even had 7 assists. With the way the rest of the guys were playing and shooting, I mean, I don't even know how he got the assist because guys were missing a lot of, especially perimeter shots. But hey, it is what it is. And then Deuce chipped in 13 minutes with 8 points. He had a couple big shots. That 3 that he banked was pretty dope. We'll take it. I mean, Hail Marys, we need them sometimes. And then let's just see here at the bottom. Look at that, 15 assists, which Jalen Brunson had 7. So the rest of the team had 8 assists. That's not good. 44 rebounds to Detroit's 53. Yeah, that's not going to win you many basketball games. And 14 turnovers to their 15 turnovers. We were pretty much right there neck and neck. The Knicks shot 42% from the field and ghastly 28.6 from three. That's terrible. Detroit shot 44.6 from the field and 22 from three. So they weren't much better. They were worse. And yet they still were able to get the victory. Let's take a look real quick at this game chart info, and then I'll get over to Jay and see his thoughts. Points in the paint, Detroit 46-40. Second chance points, 13-11, in Detroit's favor, and fast break points 15-14 in Detroit's favor. It just seemed like when you really come down to it, neither one of these teams shot well, but Detroit just hustled more, and they gave a little bit more fire. They got to the free throw line more. That we knew. Let me go back to the box score because I got to see something here. 28 of 34, 16 of 19. Wow. 34 times to the free throw line. Wow. Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference in the game right there. That's it. So yeah, I mean, I can't really say anything else. That it comes down to them damn free throws. The Knicks just couldn't force the issue. They didn't get to the line. We thought because Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew, was going to be out, the Knicks were going to attack and really put pressure on them, and they really didn't do a good job of doing that. I'll get into it a little bit more, but let me hear from Jay. Jay, your thoughts, brother.
Well, listen, I'm going to start with something that I'm sure a lot of people are going to complain about. That is the reffing, right? So I think at this point, as Knicks fans, that we should know that in the majority of the time, you go in and we're playing the team and the refs. So I'm not going to, even though there was some flagrant misses and some very soft calls against us, I mean, really soft against OG and stuff like that, we still didn't play good perimeter defense. We didn't play good interior defense. I don't know how much more defense there is in perimeter, but we really didn't. And then to make it, if you want to go by what I'm talking about the refs, just take a look at the disparity of the free throw numbers. I think you said that, I know we had 19 attempts.
They had 34.
34-19. So it's double-ish what we got to go to the line. And Cade, at one point late in the game, had more than our entire team. So, listen, they're a gritty team. We chatted a little prior to this thing. To have a Schroeder that could come off the bench for 20, type of guy that you dislike unless he's on your squad. Same thing with the Beasley, those type of guys. We didn't have that. We don't have that on a regular, normal basis. And before I get into further, if I remember correctly, a big part of our first game was campaign and his energy. I believe he played 4 minutes tonight. I'm not quite sure why and whatever, but still at the end of the game, and I'll get into one more reason after, but still at the end of the game is still in our hand. Brunson misses a free throw that could have put us 1 point above. It's important. That gives us that protected energy. It's different. And to be honest, that last point will come back to me in a moment, but every time to come back, you want to. Oh, here it is. That third quarter, that evil, disgusting, lately disgusting third quarter has been. Last game, same thing. We had to come back to win that. This one, we almost came back to win it because of the third quarter. So I don't know what goes on in between, what they're doing in between, but that third quarter, that's exactly where we, in my belief, where it went wrong. I'll stick with tonight's game. That's where it went. That's where it went wrong. So starting.
No, I think you're right. I mean, the Knicks have somehow the third quarter beast, the third quarter bandit, has come back to strike the Knicks again. If you guys remember, a couple years back, the third quarter was the Knicks' Achilles heel. Every third quarter was a ride, and it seems like it's all of a sudden the last month and a half of the season, third quarters have been terrible for the Knicks. All of a sudden, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where this came from. I don't know what's the lack of focus or the lack of energy. Something. It's a combination, because it's not always energy, but it could be lack of focus. I'm not going to say preparation. You can't be prepared for 3 other quarters of the game and just not good for the third. It's focus, it's energy, and for whatever reason, they come out lethargic and lackadaisical. Oh, Clydeisms in the third quarter. I don't know what it is. The other thing too that I thought was very interesting, and I wonder how the news stations or whatever, or the analysts will break it down. The Knicks clearly didn't attack the paint the way a lot of us thought they would without having Isaiah Stewart out there. But honestly, in some cases, certain people really struggled to attack the paint. For whatever reason, Karl Anthony Towns struggled to get into the lane. I was calling for him to be aggressive, right? And I know there's fans that are saying that Brunson shot the ball a lot, but Brunson is going to shoot the ball a lot because this is the playoffs. This is where if you don't take it, I'm taking it, right? And right. I know that the Knicks do have to move with some type of semblance of what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, they got to move the ball. Okay, let's say that. They got to, believe in each other as teammates and move the ball, get that fluidity going, get the continuity.
Connectivity, right. Yeah.
Yes, right. But the problem is when you come into this game knowing that the Knicks were off, right? They were shooting terrible, right? And if that's the only shots that you're getting with your ball movement, and that's the shots that are going up and you're missing them, we could have easily got blown out of this game had it not been for Brunson knocking down the shots that he was knocking down. And I'm not just saying just him. It's whoever was being aggressive, getting closer shots to the rim that were, easier to hit. You got to, I would say Brunson and Mikal Bridges kept the Knicks in the game. So it's not just Brunson taking shots. Mikal was taking shots too. He just didn't get as many opportunities as Brunson got, but they both had to do what they had to do in order to keep the Knicks in the game. OG Anunoby, for as good as he's been, and I told you guys this before, it's no knock on OG. I love what OG's becoming. I love the work he's doing on his offensive game, but he's still a work in progress. And when you go up against a good defensive team, they're going to try to stop you from your comfort level. They're going to try to make him put the ball on the floor more. And you can see he still doesn't have the greatest dribble. So he's going to run into moments where things look awkward. He might turn the ball over, or it might put him in a position where he is awkward to take the shot by the dribble and how they're pressing him. So then he puts up a shot that's not comfortable, right? So it's all working in Detroit's favor. You got that going on. You got them cutting off. Every time Karl Anthony Towns tries to drive to the lane, the defender who's on him is slowing him down, stopping him, and then the help defense is coming, and then he's stuck. So he's not able to get a shot attempt there. These are opportunities that he's losing. So you got all of that going on, and then here is the thing that I like to look at for Detroit, and I like to say this might have been the X factor. what the hell is his name? And I can't stand him. I didn't like him in Philadelphia. Oh, Paul Reed played really good defense in those 11 minutes when he was out there. And I'm not saying that 11 minutes of basketball play is game changing, but for the time that he was out there when the Knicks were trying to make runs and trying to get back into it, Paul Reed was playing some really good defense. He was getting some hustle plays. Like, it was really big what he was doing in those moments, because with Duran out there or not out there, you know, that combination of him and Paul Reed, or Paul Reed stepping up when he was on, it was really helpful.
He blocked a Cat 3. Cat took his time to shoot this 3, felt it was all good, 7 feet tall. I'll get it over him. And he came out of nowhere and just, boom. Sorry. You're not getting that one, brother.
And you know, Jay, that Paul Reed remembers us, because remember when we played Philadelphia last year, Paul Reed was the one that was doing all of this talking, and we shut him down, basically made him lose his job. They got him out of Philadelphia.
That's a fact.
So he definitely doesn't love. He's got no love lost for the Knicks. So.
That's right, 100%.
Yeah, man. I just find that once again, like it's just crazy. This team is so Jekyll and Hyde, because as good as we saw how they played in that fourth quarter, and anyway, the combination of Tibbs making some good adjustments throughout the game in that first game. Get the flip side in this second game, and you get the other side of Tibbs. It's like, can we get a consistent Tibbs? Like, I don't know what it is.
I've been fighting this. People who have not. Sorry, I took a step to the left. Now I kind of got off track. Who have been, the anti-Tibbs, and the particular few that we know who are the ones that are anti-Tibbs, and then the anti-Brunson ones. The anti-Brunson ones make me laugh, but the anti-Tibbs is something that I was not at all a part of. I did not like. The guy came into New York and did a fantastic job turning what was, if people remember, a not good at all New York Knicks team. Mm-hmm. So he gets his flowers for that. But at some point, as we grow older, I'm starting to think, is this coaching job, not just the playing job, a young man's sport now? You look around and see it, some of these teams who are doing things that we're not doing, or they're not doing things we are doing foolishly. Younger coach, younger bench, younger players. And obviously, I know we kind of backed ourselves into it, but, we really don't, unless you call the Garden the sixth man, they usually are your fans. We don't have that extra guy. So Tibbs does have to be the maneuverer. He has to make it. And like you said, last game, I mean, look at the energy Campaign brought to last game. That ferocious, the thing that we were talking about prior. If it wasn't on our team, Campaign brought that for us. Then he got 4 minutes. It's interesting. So there was a game that I remember. The game where Bridges hits the 3. They hit Tibbs writes up a play, inbound to Hart, or Hart inbounds it to Bridges, gives it back to Hart. Bridges circles around to the top of the key. Hart hits him, 3 for the game. That's a great written play. So I get confused when he doesn't do it. It's like starting to become a little confusing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Campaign
like
only has 4 minutes now. Like that's confusing.
So, like for example, the when the Knicks were down 3 and they needed to get a 3 to tie the game, that shot that they drew up for Mikal Bridges to get that 3, that look was a damn good look. You know what I mean? Like, can't be mad at that. Even, I mean, of course, at that point we were down 5, or down 4. Either way, even the shot that Brunson had to take a 3 that he missed to hit the front of the rim, that was a good look too. So they got good looks to hit that 3 down the stretch. Now, mind you, that wasn't really going to get them to win the game. It was either to tie the game at one point or just to stay close. But the biggest things, like you said, for example, okay, so you mean to tell me that the Knicks come out struggling, right? We're not knocking down the 3. We're not even shooting 30% from 3. OG Anunoby was 0 for 4. Brunson was 4 of 12. Mikal Bridges was 3 of 11. Towns was 0 of 2. And Josh hit 1 of 2. So he actually shot better than a lot of them. And so did Miles McBride, who was 2 of 4. So you mean to tell me that after the first game, when Cam Payne was hot and basically helped us win the game, because I don't care what we did, if it wasn't for Cam Payne hitting those big threes in that moment, I don't think we would have had a chance to even come back to win the game. So whatever. He plays 4 minutes. Nobody's got it. Nobody can shoot. Right. Cam Payne plays 4 minutes. All right. Nobody's got it. Nobody can shoot. Landry Shamet plays 4 minutes and 50 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand some of the things that's going on. I also don't understand. This is the playoffs, but this is a team that, as fans, we all clearly feel we are better than. So you're telling me Tibbs can't experiment and play 9, 10 guys? I mean, forget it. He played 9. I mean, 2 of them played 4 minutes apiece, but you telling me he can't play 10 guys? He couldn't put Precious in there? And I'm not saying Precious is the answer. I'm just saying his flexibility. If there was a time to be flexible, it's against Detroit. And Detroit was down one of their best players. You can't be flexible. You can't change things around. Find a better combination, a combination that might get a spark out there, that might create some easy transition baskets.
Right.
That is the problem I have with Tom Thibodeau. He's too rigid in his mind of, this is our game plan. This is what we're going to do. We're going to execute today and whatever. And then the next day, we're going to do the same thing. He's too rigid. That's the only thing.
When he's doing it.
He's smart. He has good ideas about how things can work. He's just too rigid in his thinking. He doesn't have the flexibility. Got to be flexible to be so consistent. And when you got to be flexible.
I'm going to read you something that's very interesting. So 9 players also, but 8 of the Detroit 9 players play double digit minutes. 8 of them. 7 of our guys played double digits, but only McBride played 13 minutes. So he barely slid past that mark of single digits. And I really can't understand. You can't give me, there's nobody here who could give me a good reason at all why Cam Payne plays 4 minutes unless he stole something from the coach, or he did something to him, cursed at him, or said, I'm the man and I should start. There's no reason. I'm trying to make a reason because logic is what I try to operate off of. And if we all watch that last game and the energy that Cam Payne brought, he brought the pain. And today, 4 minutes, and we're watching players. When you're hitting the front of the rim, you know what that means, right? when most of the time, and you're doing it consistently, tired legs, tired in general. So you can't bring in a couple people. You know, Paul Reed comes in. He comes in and plays some strong minutes. Where's Precious? You know, why isn't he in there? Why isn't he pushing people around like Tobias Harris? Just like Ron said, has been playing for years. Prior to the past few years, he was. Let's just say this: he's always been a starter. He's a starter. All right, that tells you enough. He's played well. For him to get that type of numbers when we have 2 7-footers, they have no 7-footers, and a player missing that is tough, one of their tallest people, there is zero reason why you don't have more Cam, more Sham, more Precious, more rest for the guys who got. How about the 10-point crew, huh? 40 minutes, 10 points, Hart. 42 minutes, 10 points, OG. 33 minutes for Towns. 10 points. Bridges, 38 minutes, 19 points. Robinson, 20 minutes. Mitch, 20 minutes. I want you to guess just really quick how many points did Robinson score tonight?
I don't know. 0.
That's the. Tell him what he won, Andios. Tell him what he won.
Yeah, but you don't expect Mitch to give you any points. I mean, if he gets you anything, you're like, wow, that's great. I mean, Mitch is just he just doesn't have anything in his offensive bag like that you can depend on. But I will say this, being that you brought him up, it does lead me to something. At least in 20 minutes of play, Mitch had 7 rebounds.
And I think 6 of them were offensive. I'm going to double check it.
I can tell you right now. No, 4 of them were offensive, 3 of them were defensive.
Okay.
In 33 minutes of play, Karl Anthony Towns had 6 rebounds.
No,
so
I get it.
If you want to, look, I mean, all the stuff that I brought up as to why this game could have been better on the Knicks side, the playing of Cam, the playing of Shamet, especially when guys don't got it going from the outside, definitely could have helped. But if we want to talk about why they lost, it is simple. They did not put pressure on Detroit in the paint. They got out-rebounded by Detroit when technically the Knicks should have had more size, yet we didn't see it, right? Because Tibbs, he played Cat and he played Robinson, but he didn't play Precious, for example. Someone who might be able to we talk about the biggest knock on Precious is he's not really good against centers. He can't really defend them, and they make him smaller when he goes up against them. But this is a game where Detroit didn't get more size. They actually had, technically they had, it wasn't even about size because Isaiah Stewart's like 6'9" anyway. But so they lost a little bit of presence. Why wouldn't you put Precious out there, try to get him going? Especially in a game where like Cat just didn't have it going initially. He still finished with efficient numbers as far as shooting wise. Right. But he didn't really have it going initially. Robinson's not going to give you much. Why wouldn't you try to throw Precious out there just to see what you? I just don't like the flexibility is not there. And if there was ever I'm going to say it again. If there was ever a series for the Knicks to try to be flexible, it's Detroit. If they get past Detroit and deal with a Boston or a Cleveland, you can't be as flexible. You better go out there with your best and hope it works, because that's different. But whatever.
That's why this is the time to do it. That's why this series is the time to really see who you're going to roll. You're not rolling. You cannot roll out with 5 guys. I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. You're not going to win it. That's no team. Everybody has players that come in. I don't care how, Cole, what's his name? Pope, that been played for a bunch of teams, Denver and all that.
Contavious Caldwell Pope. Right. Yeah.
Somehow he's a starter on these teams. He doesn't get a whole bunch of points. So when he does, he gets a whole bunch of minutes. He runs around, then he come out. Somebody else who scores comes in, scores. Then this guy comes back in. He plays good outside defense. He goes running around, and we're not doing that, switching and moving people in. Why not? If our bench is looking like kind of bad and we're not doing that, why not make an adjustment in a Detroit series that you're supposed to have a gentleman's sweep at least?
Right.
It's tough. It's tough to defend. That's right, JJ. It's tough to defend Tom Thibodeau in today's game. And it's so weird because it was really easy to applaud him last game.
No, it was. I mean, he did some really smart things, and I think it worked out. And it translated with the way the players played. But, the other thing, too, is, they got out rebounded. Like we said, they didn't push the pace. I mean, push the issue to the paint and really try to dominate in the paint, knowing that Detroit would be without Isaiah Stewart. But as we talked about earlier, let's not forget the free throw disparity was huge. 34 attempts for Detroit, 19 for the Knicks. And then if you want to look at the level of aggression, right? Because I think that's very important. I know a lot of people are going to look at this game and pinpoint what's obvious to them. They're obvious. They're going to say, man, Cat, let me bring up my box score so I can see it while I'm talking. They're going to look at it and they say, Cat only took 11 shots, right? That's Brunson's fault, because anytime Cat only takes 11 shots, it's Brunson's fault. It can't be nobody else's fault. Right. Yeah. So Cat only took 11 shots. That's Brunson's fault, right?
Yeah.
The other thing they're going to say is OG didn't really get a chance to get into the game, right? We need OG. He's been fantastic. But, with Brunson out there and the way they're moving the ball with McCall and Brunson, OG's not getting his shot. OG had 10 shots. He had basically one less than Towns. But he was 4 of 10, and he was 0 of 4 from 3. So the shots ain't – if you're not knocking the shots down as the ball moves around, this is the playoffs. And the lead started to expand. Somebody's got to step up and take these shots. Not for nothing. The other thing, too, we already talked about the free throws. There was a point where the Knicks weren't getting any free throws, and nobody was forcing the issue. So then you look at who was – and I go back to the aggressive part. OG Anunoby is somewhat aggressive. He got to the line 2 times. So he basically went – he had 1 trip, right?
Yeah.
Josh Hart went to the line 6 times, and Jalen Brunson went to the line 11 times. Mikal Bridges didn't get to the free throw line, but he rarely does. He doesn't really get a lot of free throws. He doesn't force the issue that way. That's not his game. But Karl Anthony Towns didn't get to the line at all.
At 7 feet, you should be at the line at least 4 times a game, just because you're 7 feet under the rim.
And here's the thing. Am I blaming him a little bit? Yes, because I think you have to find a way to be aggressive. With that height, with your skill level, I watched Karl Anthony Towns drive to the basket in the first game and do an up and under and flip it up with his right hand and look like a guard. I'm like, with a guy who has that much skill, there's no way you got to keep putting the pressure on them, right? They can't stop you. You got to keep putting the pressure on. Now, I will say, I'm not going to blame him 100%. I'm going to give him like 85% of the blame, because I also give Tom Thibodeau blame for this type of stuff, because I don't think Tom Thibodeau makes it easy for these players to get easy looks at the rim. He doesn't have his offensive setup is not set up that, okay, each time Karl Anthony Towns put the ball on the ground, he's going straight to the basket. He's got to get around his guy, and then when the help comes, they shut him down. Where's the screen? Where's the pick? Where's you know what I mean? Like, just because you're not playing the 2-man game with Jalen and Karl Anthony Towns doesn't mean Karl Anthony Towns can't play the 2-man game with someone else. Where's the pick and pop? Where's the guy freeing him up to get to the you don't even have to go all the way to the basket. You could do a pick and allow Karl Anthony Towns just to come off the pick and hit a 2. The dude is a great shooter. I get frustrated, man. These are little things.
I think that he also. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. That's what I was going to say. That was it. Go ahead.
I think that if you ever watch Karl Anthony Towns, when something doesn't go his way, he has this frustrated look on his face, right? And like today, he was driving a few times to the rim, and I gotta take my hat off for Detroit playing tough defense. They played very tough defense. They got away with a lot of garbage. But they played tough defense. And you know what? They dared the refs to call him. That's what you got to do. You play tough defense. But the problem with us is we're going to get the calls against us. So he goes in a handful of times. He shoots those 2 threes, doesn't make them. And I don't know, but it felt like he checked out at some point tonight. It really felt like Cat checked out at some point tonight. And Paul Reed blocked that 3 from him, which was I think it ended either the second half or it ended one of the quarters. It looked like he was just like, oh, I can't get a call from the ref. I'm getting my blocks. They're blocking my shot. It just was a bad look. So between that and the old man get off my lawn coaching, it was a very frustrating game. And then still somehow, even though people want to call him Carmelo Brunson if you want, we're still he missed that 1 free throw, but he tied it up with the other one. Somehow, after all that and being down by all those points, we're tied towards the end of the game in the 4th quarter. So, what are you expecting? If everybody else is more and he's making passes, he's got the most assists too. So he's still the best player on your team. If these other guys aren't making shots, who do you want making shots? Yes, we want Campaign to come in. We want people to get rest. We want all this stuff. But they are missing a lot of shots tonight. And we're not getting free throw calls. We're not getting to the line. The guy who's making 34 to 38 points, you got to go with them. I don't know. It's hard. It's a very hard thing here. I still think, though, on another level, that, OG is the type of guy that miss till I make. And tonight didn't feel like that was happening as well. I do think that Detroit frustrated him and the refs frustrated him. And at some point, a handful of them, including Cat, kind of was threw their hands in the air. It was kind of like, well, it is what it is, and blah, blah, blah. I can't imagine what Cam was thinking on that bench.
I just know that it looks a certain way, and I'm telling you, this game specifically has a lot to do with coaching. Specifically, I know, like I said, as I already said multiple times, people are going to point the finger at Jalen Brunson and say it's easy. It's easy to look at him and say he's the cause because of all the shots he took. But when you look at the game and how it played out, right? If you look at what actually transpired, let me show you. Let me tell you guys some information that's interesting. First quarter, the Knicks lost the first quarter 25-18, right? In the first quarter, Jalen Brunson took 4 shots. Mikal Bridges took 6. OG took 5, and Karl Anthony Towns took 3. So he was letting everybody else do their thing, kind of get themselves in the flow of the game. He wasn't dominating. He only took 4 shots, right? And we were down 25-18. He had 4 points, mind you. He took 4 shots. He had 4 points, right? Yep. You know, Cat had 6 and Macau had 6 as well. Then the second quarter, the Knicks actually won the quarter 31-30. In this quarter, Karl Anthony Towns took 5 shots. He had 4 points. Mikal Bridges took 4 shots. He had 7 points. And Jalen Brunson took 7 shots, but he had 13 points. Once again, guys, remember what I said. He did not take a lot of shots in the first quarter. He let everybody get theirs. We were down 25-18. The second quarter, he starts taking shots, knocking stuff down. We were up 31-30 in the quarter. We were still down, but we were up 31-30 in the quarter, right? Look at the third quarter. In the third quarter, the Knicks actually were losing we lost the quarter 20-18, right? Brunson took 8 shots in this one, and he didn't really. This one he struggled. He didn't really knock him down. He was 2 of 8, so he struggled. Karl Anthony Towns took 3 shots, hit nothing. Mikal Bridges took 4 shots. He was 2 of 4, and OG was 1 of 2, and Josh Hart didn't take a shot in the third quarter, and yet. With the combination of Mikal and Jalen at least giving us some points to kind of stay somewhat active, they had 6 points apiece, but we had 18-20. So, once again, I just said it. The second quarter, we were winning the quarter. We won the quarter. The third quarter, we were 2 points down in the third quarter. But it goes back to that first quarter. That's why these starts are important. Okay, now let's look at the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter, Karl Anthony Towns played 12 minutes and took 0 shots. I know that you guys might say, how's he supposed to shoot when Mr. Hog the Ball is taking all the shots? If you are Karl Anthony Towns, an all-star, you don't play 12 minutes, a full quarter, and not take a shot. He did not attempt 1 shot. It's mind-boggling to me. You cannot tell me you don't take 1 shot. But whatever. Okay, it's all on Brunson. Fine. Jalen Brunson took 8 shots in the fourth quarter. He was 4 of 8 for 50%. Mind you, guys, OG Anunoby was 1 of 2 for 4 points. Josh Hart was 1 of 3 for 6 points. Cat did not take a shot, as I told you, so 0 points. Miles McBride was 1 of 2. He hit a 3. Jalen Brunson, with his 4 of 8 from the field for the 14 points, the Knicks won the fourth quarter 27-25. So, once again, each time Jalen Brunson was active and aggressive, the Knicks either won the quarter or they were close to tying for the quarter lead. The only quarter where he took a back seat, let everybody else kind of get going, was the first quarter, and that is the difference in the game.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm not trying to be a Brunson apologist. I'm just looking at and I'm trying to tell you guys the way the game flowed. Look at what happened. When Brunson was aggressive, we actually had a chance to be in the game. We won quarters with him doing his thing. Almost won the third quarter, but we lost it by 2 points. So I'm just saying, you're looking at it in a certain lens, but you got to look at it a little deeper. If you want to be upset with somebody, once again, I'm going to say it again, you could be upset a little bit with Karl Anthony Towns for not being aggressive in the fourth quarter, but you could also be very upset with Tom Thibodeau for not – listen, when we got Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best shooting big men ever in the history of basketball, to put alongside Jalen Brunson, one of the best shooting field goal percentage point guards ever in basketball. He has one of the best percentages for a career.
Yep.
We were told they were going to be doing the pick and roll. Man, the dynamic duo, the pick and roll between those two guys, who do you stop? Did you guys see a pick and roll between Brunson and Towns in the fourth quarter?
No.
Where is the exploit? Where is the we do this so well? They got to do something. You know, the Denver Nuggets do the pick and roll so well that, especially in fourth quarters of games, it's hard for you to come back when they get big leads because they'll just start burying you with that.
That's right.
Where is that coming from, Tom Thibodeau?
It was done against us in that fourth quarter. Whether it resulted in an alley-oop, remember that little tap in alley-oop, or it resulted in it was done against us. And by the way, and I'm not, and listen, again, this is not an apologist nor a demolishing anybody. 7 foot, skills like a shooting guard, but you're still 7 foot and you got a big frame. And you're not underneath the rim putting your hand up to call the ball, because I see a whole lot of people saying Brunson's putting his head down and he's going to the rim and he's got, 6 turnovers, 7 turnovers. Cade had 5 turnovers. I mean, that's point guards. Point guards are going to have turnovers like unbelievable because they're the ones with the ball in their hand the most. But Cat should have been under there. The tallest guy, Duran was the tallest guy. Why was he not underneath or picking and rolling, picking and popping, picking anything? But instead, he went over or didn't shoot or whatever you said. So he did more like pick his nose. That's all he was doing. He did nothing else. He should have pick and rolled. He could have backed them down directly underneath there the entire time in his hand, either to the foul line, if they gave it to us, or in. Should have been yamming every possession on them at that point. And in that second quarter, 13 points resulted out of Brunson's hand. And in the fourth quarter, there was only one person who was bringing us back to almost winning that game. He gave it to other people. They shot it. But look at the numbers.
I like I said, I get it when it looks at when you look at it from the whole game standpoint and look at those numbers, you're easily going to point the finger at Brunson, him ball hogging and not moving the ball and not getting other people involved. But if you look at what I just broke down, what I said to you guys, if you remember that the Knicks shot terrible from the outside and most of these guys are perimeter shooters, you can't really get guys involved if when they're involved, they're not making the baskets. The only reason the Knicks didn't get blown out in this game is because Jalen Brunson decided to take over. Or else this game could have been over a long time ago. The Knicks wouldn't even have a chance to be close to even have a chance to win this game. So, yeah, that's bad. You know, another thing that's bad, too, it's the whole thing about Karl Anthony Towns. Like I said, I'm going to call it the way I see it from game to game. I praised Cat for what he did in that first game. I thought it was phenomenal. I thought he played fantastic. That was the best. If you want to go pound for pound for the meaning and what the game meant, that was the best we've seen Karl Anthony Towns. He might have had better offensive games, and he might have had better rebounding it, but that was the overall the best we've seen Karl Anthony Towns in a Knicks uniform with the offense, the rebounding, and the defense. The best we've seen.
The hustling, everything,
all of it, bro. All of it. But
that's why the night and day is so weird.
That's what I'm saying. It's night and day because you go from that. You talk about all right. So if you say, hey, he didn't play that bad. He shot 6 for 11, I think. Not terrible from for the game, but he wasn't aggressive. He didn't force he didn't force the issue when he is dominant. He's a big 7-footer with great offensive skill. Okay, and then you think that's it? That's it? No, that's not it. That defense that you saw in that first game, you didn't see that same level of defense in the second game. That's one, but I'm not going to knock him for that. I know who he is. I was happy with the first game. I don't expect it all the time.
He played above his limit on that first game.
Yeah, it's okay. Right. It's cool. But what I do expect from him is the effort and the hustle from a 7-footer on the rebounding end. Yep. He played 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. He got 2 rebounds.
Yep.
Like for the game, he finished with what, 6 or 7 rebounds? What was it? 6? He finished with 6 rebounds.
6
How are we
rebounds.
gonna? They are already smaller than us, and they lost a physical presence in Isaiah Stewart, and we got out rebounded, and we've got our guys. We're healthy. There's no excuse for that. No excuse.
And Tobias Harris gets 12. And let me tell you, as long as he's played, he's always been a good player. But to get more rebounds from a Tobias Harris, who's always knock on him, has the same knock that everybody likes to say about Cat, kind of a soft player, kind of not, doesn't like to mix it up. 13 and 12 during his time, and so look, it's part Tibbs. It's like a cocktail, right? It's part Tibbs, big part Cat, But I'm sorry, I can't say that there is even a portion or the umbrella in the drink of Brunson. I can't say that. Without him, we didn't get to that part. We could never have got to that part.
Right? No. Yeah.
12. You play the whole fourth quarter, and did you say he didn't shoot the entire fourth quarter?
In the whole fourth quarter, he took 0 shots and he had 2 rebounds.
Listen, you're too big, you're too talented, and you get paid too much to do something like that in the playoff game.
And here's the other thing too. Sorry, Jay, I didn't mean to cut you off, but you just made me think of something. So you mean to tell me that you play the whole fourth quarter, 12 minutes, you don't take any shots? So therefore, it doesn't matter where your positioning is. You don't need to stay out there on the perimeter, just standing there for nothing. You're not no threat. So you should get your big ass down there in the paint and rebound the ball. You should. So, but all he did was get 2 rebounds. Like that's not going to cut it. Shout out to Craig. Appreciate you. Craig says, Ron, all the big Knicks podcasters, aka Knicks Fan TV, are all saying Brunson is the reason we lost with his ISO non-ball movement and high turnovers. When Brunson was out, our team was great without him. Yeah, okay. You could say that when Brunson was out, the team learned how to play basketball without him. Not that they were great without him. They played very well. They were 9-6 in a 15-game span without Brunson. However, some of us might say, me, that some of those games, if Brunson had been there, they would have won. You know what I mean? But it's okay. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm not going to take it away from them. They played great. But here's the flip side. Those same, shout out to Knicks Fans TV. They're very good at what they're doing, but they're Knicks Fans TV. This is still Knicks fans. And the good thing about that is we can have differences of opinion, but also differences in perspective. I'm sure nobody at Knicks Fan TV said, let's go quarter by quarter and look at the shot totals of Brunson and how he took less shots in the first year. We were down, how he took more shots in the other 3 quarters, and we almost won all 3 quarters, but we did win 2 of them with Brunson being more aggressive. I'm sure they're not going into that bag, are they? That's all I'm saying. That's why this Knicks community is great, because there's so many differences of opinion, different perspectives. I may say this right now. You may watch another show. It might be Sims, Nothing But Knicks. It might be Lawrence Tears with Uncle Freezy, and they might come up with even better, reason for why we lost, or something that we're not looking into. That's why I love the Knicks community, because there's so much great interaction. There's great perspectives, and it's fun to hear people talk. To be honest,
it's all right. I think that when you call it as you see it, I think there's like 3 things. You call it the way, there's the eyeball test, there's the facts on the paper, and then there's a coulda, woulda, wish sandwich, right? And right now, I think what we're talking about are the facts that are on the paper and the eyeball test. And what we saw out there, and what is produced on this on the scoreboard, on the score chart, equaled the eyeball test. He wasn't calling for it. The guy is 7 feet tall. I would be screaming. Let me tell you this. If I was 7 feet tall, I would call my mother every day. I would call anybody I knew every day. Hey, can you come over for 5 minutes? I just want to dunk on you. All right? Every single day. All right? I'd be so happy I could dunk I would call you every day. I'll give you money. Come over here. Just let me dunk on you. So he should have been down there. They were all shorter to not take a stinking shot in 12 full minutes. You're wasting space. You should have went out there. He should have, and that then becomes a Tibbs problem because you're watching a man who is not taking any shots, not being assertive, looks like he tapped out, looks like he is checked out of the game. I don't give a god. I don't care. It had Ron say a word he never would say usually tonight, and then and I don't care what's going on out there. He's got to come out. You put Mitch in. You take another guy out who's not shooting. Maybe Bridges or Hart, who is not shooting it right there, and then you bring in Campaign. You bring in Sham. You bring in some of these other guys that, as everybody is saying, played really well when Brunson was there, but also played really well the other day when Brunson was there.
Mm-hmm.
So which one is it? They could play really well when he's there, and they can also play really well when he's not there. That's not an argument.
Right. And you know what? That's a good point. Damn it, Jay. I'm glad you were here tonight. Because I was just about to say something about that too. Shout out to Joey. Appreciate you, Joey. And look, no knock, but I think that you're slightly incorrect with this because I don't think OG has regressed since Brunson's been back. In that first game against Detroit, OG finished with 23-7. Good game. OG took 18 shots with Brunson out there. And Karl Anthony Towns had 23, 11, and 5, and Brunson had 34 and 8. They were all eating together. Josh Hart had 13, 7, and 6. The only one who kind of struggled was Mikal Bridges. And he didn't have it, and he just decided, I'm not going to take as many shots. I'll let everybody else get theirs going because they look like they're playing better than me. But this is what I want to say. This is the bottom line that I'm a bottom line you guys right now because this is the bottom line. I've been noticing it throughout the season. This is the playoffs now. This is put up or shut up time. This is the bottom line, in my opinion. You guys can agree with me or not. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you how I see it right now. The bottom line is the Knicks go as far as their jump shot goes. And when the jump shot is not falling, the only person consistently that comes to play in the playoffs is Jalen Brunson. No matter what, if Jalen Brunson don't got his outside shot, he figures out a way to go inside, to do his little pitter-patter, to back you down, to spin off you, get some layups, get some mid-range shots. He does whatever he can to continue to put up points. Or we watched a game, that game against LA that Brunson got hurt in. You guys remember that game? Where he didn't really have his shot going, where he made most of his buckets going through the free throw line. He just kept going back and forth to the line. That is the difference between Jalen Brunson and everybody else. And I'm sorry to say it. When the Knicks don't shoot well, we're in trouble. So you need Jalen Brunson to go get busy. In that game, in the first game of the series, the Knicks shot 52% from the field and 38.5% from three. It's easy to win a game when you're shooting that well, when everybody's knocking it down. This is where you figure out what type of stones you got when you don't have it going. How do you win a game when you don't got your shot going? Especially the fact that all of us as fans knew they didn't have Isaiah Stewart. So all of us said they're going to attack the paint. And they didn't attack the paint. They couldn't even get to the free throw line. I'm sorry, guys. This game is a little funky to me. You can't just look at it and say it automatically means this. No, there's more to this game, especially game 2. There's more to this game 2 than just that. And I also think that Tom Thibodeau's offense is too simplified or it's not sophisticated enough or something, because there's different things that we just don't take advantage of. And I really don't understand why we don't take advantage of the two-man game, especially against an undersized Detroit Pistons team. I don't get it.
It makes me flip out. I have no idea. And then also, so this is, it really comes, that is on Tibbs. I mean, I think a lot, but you don't have to be coached. If you play basketball for a certain amount of time, You just do that. That 2-man game is something that you could just do. You know, why did Cat not go to the line tonight against a short team at the minimum 8 times? Maybe they weren't calling them, but at some point, they're going to start calling them. At some point, they're going to start calling them. Of course, no one likes that Cunningham went to the line 11 times or 12 times in our house. And we don't get a lot of calls. But we would have got more calls if he took one shot. If he ran into there and he ran into the fire and then he got knocked down. He doesn't play that type of ball. He likes to be about 10 feet away, get the ball, curl it under his arm, and run his way into there, or bring it back out to the top and bring it straight down the middle. He should be back. That's, you know why? He's a power forward. He's playing like a power forward. The problem here is he's been a center all year. There's something called adaptation. You have to adapt to your environment or your situation, of which he did and hasn't fully done. He did it early. When we were smashing and crashing Minnesota and beating Denver by 35, and early in the year, they were picking and popping, picking and rolling. They were doing everything they possibly could with no pressures, with no backup people, with no Mitch, with none of those guys. They did all that. And I'm not going to go for it. I'm sorry. The same people that are screaming, let's blame Brunson, I promise you that every time they put the ball up and it went in the basket, you jump for joy. And that you wish it was him that had the rock in his hand. And the same people that last year were screaming when we had 6 people, everybody with a broken toe playing or a broken something, eyelid on the court. And he had the ball and he was still one game away with 4.5 people playing in the damn thing, and he's still scoring 40 for us. Cannot blame the guy who's doing the best thing, and is nowhere near hogging the ball. If you're hogging the ball, you're not getting 7 assists. If you're hogging the ball, you're not making these extra plays. When you play, if you broke the way Ron broke it down, that first quarter, he had the least amount of shots that went, or least amount. In the second quarter, he took 7 or 8 shots, 13 points. So in that third quarter, everybody fell apart. He had 2 of 8, but everybody fell apart. In the fourth quarter, your biggest guy who's got a bag full of tricks does nothing. And we're going to blame the guy who has the most points, and the second most assists? I'm sorry. I can't go for that.
It's mind-boggling. But I think, the other thing too is, no, that's not true. That ain't true, Craig. You said, I can't believe they're both trying to blame everything on Towns. No, that's not the case. I already said it. I've already explained how I feel. I said Tibbs has a lot of blame in this, and I also said Towns has blame as well. You guys can't praise somebody one game and then when they don't play the same in the second game, not, point out where they went wrong. You can't. This is at bare minimum, guys. At bare minimum, if Karl Anthony Towns is not getting the ball, or if Karl Anthony Towns is not shooting well, or he's not getting to his lanes, driving lanes that he wants, that doesn't stop you from giving the effort. So you're going to tell me that all of a sudden Karl Anthony Towns, I think he was top 3 in rebounding, or top 2 in rebounding in the league. I don't know. It was something like that, right? He was definitely top 5. Second. Top 2 in rebounding.
First for half the year.
Right. So top 2 in rebounding in the league, averaging around 12.8 or something like that.
Exactly.
You telling me that in a playoff game where this is like win or go home, these are very important games. Yep. He finishes with 6 rebounds, and you don't think that's a problem when they are undersized over there in Detroit? I mean, they don't have anybody that's that much bigger than Duran is the same height as Cat, maybe one inch smaller than him or whatever. Paul Reed ain't as big as Cat. Cat should still be able to get his rebound. Hold on, wait a minute. Cat finished with 6 rebounds, the 7-footer, and wait, and hold on. I gotta look at this. I'm gonna get more frustrated in a second. Hold on. Wait. Is this no, this is the here we go. Because this is how this gets me more upset. Hold on. So Cat finished with 6 rebounds, and Josh Hart finished with 7. And you don't think I should be mad at Karl Anthony Towns for not getting more rebounds? You kidding me?
10 points.
I don't look. I'm not even making a big deal about the points so much. It's the rebounds. The Knicks, previous Knicks teams, all of them up until this year, it was predicated on getting more opportunities at the basket than other teams. And we did that by out rebounding most of the teams we played. It's an important part of the game. You know, we said this before when they put together this team and they added McCall and they brought in Cat. The whole thing was, well, you know, what's going to happen with the rebounding? They're losing Julius Randle. He's a very good rebounder for them. Are they going to be able to continue to rebound the way they did before? But then other people were saying, well, it doesn't matter if they don't rebound that way because they should be more efficient. They should knock down more shots. There should be less shots to rebound, right?
Yeah.
That is true. But what happens when you play in a game? And we've had a bunch of them this year like this when nobody's knocking down shots, right? Yeah. This is where those rebounds are important. And we're not even talking about a team that is better at rebounding than us. We should be able to out rebound Detroit. So that's why I don't dig it. I can't rock with it, guys. I'm sorry. There's got to be, this is the playoffs. This is where you have to show supreme effort. If you don't have one thing or if something's not happening, you don't sulk. You don't go in the corner. You go out there and hustle and do whatever it takes to win the basketball game. I'm going to do whatever my team needs me to do. That's how Jalen Brunson thinks. That's how Josh Hart thinks. That's how Dante DiVincenzo used to think.
That's how Cunningham thinks, and you got to be honest about it.
And yeah. Oh, one more thing, Jane. I'm gonna let you go. The other thing too is I also want to say this too, guys. You know, we know that OG Anunoby is a fantastic defender. He played Cade Cunningham fantastic in game 1, and whenever they switched and showed him a little bit more double teams, and you know, they definitely made it tough for him. But guess what, guys? Cade Cunningham is a special basketball player, and in game 2 he got busy. And it didn't matter when OG was guarding. He was cooking OG in this game too. So I just want to put that out there that, you know, making it seem like, well, OG did an incredible job on him defensively in this game as well. No, he didn't really. Cade was getting his shots. Okay, he was cooking everybody. Just wanted to throw that out there. But okay, go ahead, Jay. My bad.
But, you know, I want to bring up something from last game that was just said a few minutes ago, right? And I'm going to show you that the night and day difference, but the same thing at the same time, and I'll work it out. Let me work this out. So we're mad that Brunson, who today was 34-7, was 34-7?
37. Was it 37? 37-7.
37-7. Okay, and since he got 37-7 and took all those shots, it didn't leave room for anybody else to take shots. That's kind of the sentiment that I'm hearing from everybody. That's hoggish. But I want to read you last games, okay, just really quick, because no one up here is saying we dislike Cat or don't think that Cat is a major part of the reason why we were in third the entire year. We just told you he led the league in rebounding. He did things he never did before. This year, it was like he just got out of college this year. That's how good he was playing. So no one's dissing the man. The man did it to himself today by not calling for the ball, not being assertive, not doing anything in that, not rebounding at 7 feet tall, and you're 5 inches taller than everybody else on either team, but whatever it might be. Last game, Brunson had 34 and 8. But Towns, I thought, had a better game because Towns had 23, 11, 5, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. But it gets better. So that is a crazy game. That's what he should have been done today. He could have did the same thing. Because I'm looking at if you want to go back and look at it, the field goals, 27 field goals yesterday attempted by Brunson. And Cat had 20 2 days ago. And Cat had 23, 11, 5, 4, and 2. And OG had 23 and 7. So that's 2 people with 23. With 5 steals and 2 blocks. That was OG. Hart had 13, 7, and 6 with the block. All while Brunson had 34 and 8. And Bridges, 8 points, 2, and 2 blocks. But Payne had 14 that game. And Mitch had 6 and 6. I'm going to tell you, and that difference between that game was no one had more than 6 rebounds at all on Detroit. Today, we didn't come to play defense. Just like I started with the show, the perimeter defense, the interior defense, and a lot of them didn't even come to play offense. And that's just the eye test and the facts. And even though that happened, even though all that happened, there's another thing that we are missing mightily, and it is that extra strength from the bench. Agreed that Tibbs should have played Cam more today, especially after the last game. But, Craig, I'm going to have to tell you, brother, we're not like Trump trying to tell you anything that might sound good. I wish he had his money. We're telling you exactly what the eye test is and what the paper says. Those are called facts.
It is what it is, man. I mean, Craig had also said, really, dude, Brunson, 44 minutes played, only 7 assists when Ricky Kolek was getting like 8 assists in like 18 minutes a game. Brunson should have at least 10 or more if he allowed his shooters to eat. I wanted to say something real quick about this because Tyler Kolek is going to get you assists, and he's going to do it at a great clip because that's the focus of his game.
That's right.
He can't get you 34 points. He can't get you 37 points. It's no way, ever. I'm not saying ever like ever. He might be able to do it at one point in life, but
Maybe
he can't consistently do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So it's different. Here's another thing that I thought was very interesting. And if you want to just look at, okay, Cade Cunningham had 30 plus points, right? He finished with 33. That first game, he had 12 assists.
Yep.
They won, right? They won. Cade Cunningham, 33 points, and he only had 3 assists.
Yep.
Is anybody saying Cade Cunningham didn't do his job? Cade Cunningham, he had 33 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, but he's the assist guy on that team. He's the guy who moves the ball. He said, no, I'm going to call my own number because I have to be better, and I've got to put pressure on this team. I'm the guy who could do it. And they won. Nobody's coming at Cade's head saying that he didn't pass the ball. But here's one more thing that I wanted to bring up that I just thought, like, if we're just talking about what these players can do on a day in and day out basis, Jalen Brunson averages 26 point something points per game for the season.
Yep.
He had 34 in the first game, 37 in this game. You would say he's doing at least what you would expect him to do or more, right?
Yep.
Jalen Brunson is averaging 7.3 assists per game. He had 8 in the first game, 7 in the second game.
Yep.
So you would say that he's doing at least what you expect him to do or more. I'm not going to get into everybody else's numbers for the season, but you know what I'm saying, that these guys did not give you what they normally give you tonight.
Right.
And the other thing, too, is the Knicks had 15 assists for the game. That's atrocious. But you want to point the finger and say that's Jalen Brunson's fault when he had 7 of the 15, almost half?
Yeah.
Come on, guys. It's a team game. Jalen Brunson ain't the only person with the ball in his hands. The ball does move around. If guys are not getting assists, it's because they're missing the shots.
That's right.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can't get an assist.
Shot. Sorry, Ron.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he adjusted his game too, by the way. Because last year he averaged, I think, maybe 2 assists less or 1.5 assists less. He adjusted his game because we got a 7-footer who could score. He raised the assist average while still staying around that top 5 in scoring in the entire league. He changed his game to put this on this man's back, who also took far less money so our team could develop more. I just find that to be very tacky. You know, other guys could have done more, and bigger guy should have called for it more. And I'm not saying that. Let me also say this. I'm not saying Brunson is perfect. He's one of my favorite players on the team. To me, he's the best signing in my lifetime, free agent signing in my lifetime that we've gotten ever in my lifetime. Free agent signing. All right? Not developed from a team or a trade. But Cat might also be one of the best trades we ever got. That's why, while we're talking about this, it's so disappointing that he didn't even take a shot in the fourth quarter. Because he's good for 35 and 13.
Yeah. And well, let me just say this, and then we'll get to some final words because it's getting late. But I don't agree with you there either, Craig. Let me read. I want to read a couple people's stuff, but I just want one more thing from Craig because I don't agree with this either. He said we should be down 0-2 right now if it wasn't for Detroit beating themselves with all those turnovers the last game. But Detroit was sloppy with the basketball, but the Knicks were super aggressive, attacking them and making them uncomfortable. Some of those passes, they threw the ball out of bounds because the Knicks were in their face. Like, I get it. You blame the team because they know to be better, but you got to give the Knicks credit for the defense in that 21-0 run. And he said, guess who would have got the blame? Again, Brunson. He's not fit for this team. In that game, Jalen Brunson, once again, 34 points, 8 assists, 1 turnover, guys. One. In this game, he had 6. You want to bring that up. That game, he had 1. How do you blame him for any mishaps with regards to the game? If anything, you say that, if it wasn't for campaign and his streaky shooting, we might not have had a chance. And then the defense started to say, because campaign, see, this is the whole thing. Remember I told you guys before that I've said that Tibbs' flexibility, being able to say, let me go to my bench and get a guy in there and see if he can be a spark. Remember I talked about how that could happen? Well, game 1 was at a point where that happened. Campaign was the spark. Campaign hit those couple threes, got right back in it. Then he hit the 3 to tie the game. Then he hit another 3 after that. But the Knicks were down. He brought life back to them, and they got hype, and then they started to dig in on defense. It was important. That's why a spark is important. That's why you got to be flexible. That's my point that I was trying to make.
Yeah. 100%. And not only that, but, he was doing it with grit and grimy, and, Onyx. He was that's why I was so baffled. The man didn't play more than 4 minutes tonight. He was going bananas. And we need that. I mean, let's be honest. One of our major issues, and I think earlier in the season, let's not forget this too. I think there was a game that we played Detroit that Precious was like 20-10 or 18-10 or 18-9 or something like that against this team. So that again, that's listen. I think, and I do this too. I usually do this, forgive me, ladies, with my ex-wife, but like I have selective hearing and, selective thoughts and stuff. I think sometimes we see things and we just say that one person, we get stuck on that one thing. No one here with us are hating on anybody. We're reading what's happening and we're seeing what's happening and we're relaying it to you. And other people, half the people are agreeing, half people are not agreeing. That's a wonderful thing about opinions, and that's a wonderful thing about, Knicks Nation, where we could just have these conversations 18-10 a week and a half ago. Thank you, Joey. I knew there was something like that. So that's a Tibbs issue. That right there is a Tibbs issue. So, right now, I'm just going to tell you, right now, the way they're paying, Kolek will get run over. And what's my man who shoved Brunson in the back and didn't get a T? Beasley.
Beasley, yeah.
Yeah, it would probably choke him out in a game like that. He's going to get his weight up. He's going to get his time. Yeah, he's for the future. He's not for now.
He's not ready yet. Kolek would get abused in this game, and they would cook him.
They would cook him
on the other side. They would cook him. You say what you want about Jalen Brunson. Yes, is he a liability in some cases? Of course, especially if he's got to take Cade. But when he's got to take somebody that's a little smaller or a little lower to the ground, he plays decent defense. He gets in front and stays with the people for the most part. He can't jump over them. They can shoot above him. But that's why the Cade Cunningham matchup is so difficult for him, and we get it. It's a tough one. It's really bad. It's really bad. Let me answer
this really quick. How would Cade do against Kolek?
We can't even think about it. It would be like practice. You know what I mean? It would, and that's not fair to Kolek yet because he's still learning. But that's the truth. Joey said no, DeLon, not DeLon, right? Yeah, but DeLon's not going to get the love. DeLon is only he's break if need be. Like they're not gonna go to him. Should they go to him?
Breaking emergencies.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it is, man. We're not even playing campaign or sham it the way they should be. It's ridiculous. So I mean, it is what it is, guys. I'm sorry. I know tonight's frustrating. We should have won the game. We had the game. You know what I mean? But there was so many bad things that were really happening in this game that I think if people really took a step back, get out of our emotions, look at the fact that we didn't dominate in the paint. We didn't out rebound them. We had a lot of turnovers in the game. We shot less than 30% from three. We finished with 15 assists because we shot so poorly. Like, there's a lot of negatives in this game. And the Knicks really didn't deserve to win, to be honest. If you just look at those negatives, like, you don't win a lot of games when you play that bad. Right. But they had a chance. They had a chance. So let me just get to this real quick. Shout out to my guy Stacks Different Timing for renewing his SKF Army membership. Appreciate you, my guy. He said, laugh my ass off. Yo, Ron and Jay, what kind of coaching was that? Ron, it's hard for Cat to be engaged on defense if he's not getting any plays called. I don't blame him. You know what? I don't want to get too deep into it. I kind of feel like Cat was probably feeling a certain way in that fourth quarter because I can't see him playing 12 minutes and only getting 2 rebounds, not doing like other things to affect the game. So maybe he was feeling a certain way. I don't want to put that on him, but it seems a little weird and iffy to me.
But is he allowed to do that, Ron? No matter what, are you allowed to take time off?
Not an NBA player of his magnitude making almost $60 million that's an all-star and is supposed to be one of the faces of this team. No. Right. You can't have those moments.
No, you can't do that no matter how you feel.
Yeah, you're bigger than that. So, but whatever. Like I said, guys, it's you guys want to put it all on Brunson. Knicks had 15 assists. Brunson had 7 of them. Okay, blame Tibbs and his style of offense and not understanding that I am in a game that I'm losing or it's close and I'm not getting one of my best players involved. Blame your coach.
Yep.
Shout out to my brother 713 Gamer. You know what it is. Thank you for the generosity, my brother. He just gifted 5 SKF Army memberships to the masses. Shout out to Luna Jean is a new member of the SKF Army. Andios is a returning member. Look at that, Luna Jean and Andios. If you know, you know. Shout out to Building Blocks. You are a member of the SKF Army. Rome Far Rock is a member, and show look at Low Key back in the mix again. Man, this is Low Key. I've never seen Low Key in the chat, bro.
Yeah, ever.
Low Key.
Welcome to the family, all of a sudden.
Yeah,
right?
Appreciate you, Low Key. Yeah, thank you, 713 Game. Appreciate you, man.
You get the applause for the day.
Yes. Of course. Hey, Craig. Yes, I definitely thought after the third quarter, I was feeling a little shook. I didn't think we were going to necessarily lose, but I was like, I don't know how we going to need to do something to step up to win. Like, I'm never going to think we're going to lose until it's like 3 minutes left in the game and we're down by a lot. Then I'm like, oh, it's over. But I'm always thinking we have a chance to win. But I hear you. Yes, was I shook in the third? Yeah, I was shook. I was scared in that first game. Yes, I was. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody once again. Thank you, guys. Knicks will be 2025-26 champs in the building. Thank you for being a member of the SKF Army. Yeah, we got out-rebounded without Stu. Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, like I said, guys, I am not going to make it seem like Cat is the reason why we lost. I'm just telling you he could have did a little bit more. I don't want to say Mitchell Robinson could have did more. He played 20 minutes. And Tibbs only played him 1 minute and 27 seconds in the fourth. So I don't know. He had 7 rebounds. I don't know what else to say about that. That's a Tibbs thing, I guess. All I can say is Cat could have did a little bit more on the rebounding side. If you want to say he could have scored more and been a little bit more aggressive, fine. And that, the team and Tibbs could have got him the ball and made more opportunities for him. Like I said, pick and rolls, different things. The 2-man game, where the hell is it? That's missing, right? But it's not just that. It's all the stuff we named and the fact that Campaign played 4 minutes after being significant in the last game. Landry Shamet played 4 minutes again in this game, in a game where no one could knock it down, and Shamet came into the playoffs hot. So you don't even let the dude take. By the way, I think Shamet took. Hold on, I think Shamet took 0 shots in the game. In the 4 minutes that he played.
I don't think he shot any today.
He did not even take a shot. How do you don't even know what you can get from the guy? Come on, man. That is frustrating, bro. All right. Anyway, let me get to Jay with final words because I gotta go to bed.
Yeah. The Mets won.
The Mets did win. It was a little shaky, but another Met victory. And once again, I said this on X. Nobody cares about it here. Met fans, man, why stop worrying about dumb stuff from the evil empire and the media?
Yeah, that
we got Soto. They don't got Soto no more. He wanted to be a Met. He's a Met. He's a Latin player. Latin players like to start off slow, especially Soto and Lindor. They have notoriously started off slow. Stop talking and feeding into these narratives. The Mets are 15-7 now. They're like the 4th best record in the freaking Major League Baseball. And look at what people are talking about. Don't let these people get in your head, man.
Yeah, move on, bro. Shut it down, man. Look at our lineup, bro.
Come on, man. Cut it out.
He bet it on himself, and they want to run with this thing. Soto said something that indeed, Juan, he is. Tonight was a great night for him. I was telling Ron that as I got in. Let me tell you something. He notoriously is the slowest.
Oh, wow. See, I missed a couple games. Damn it, Juan. That even better than I thought.
Yeah. They're 17-5. Yeah. See? He's on delay. Lindor had 2 home runs.
Wait, no. You keep going. Then they're not 17-5.
Soto's a notorious slow starter, and Sanger's pitching that ghost fork that's just looking beautiful. Lindor, we beat Philly, and anytime you beat any Philadelphia team, I don't care. You got to be happy.
16-7. 16-7, guys.
That okay? We finally got it. Are we right on this
16-7.
now? That
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Actually, that sounds about right. I think that's exactly right. But either way, first place by 3 games, so we're good right now. And as far as today, I think we can talk about that. I'll talk about that with you on X now that I know you're talking more about that. I will definitely jump up and talk a lot about our Mets on there. They're fun and exciting, and I love this time of year. This time of year, like I don't watch hockey, but I watch playoff hockey. So this time of year, the Rangers are usually in it, and the Knicks are in it lately, and the Mets have been good. So it's really a good time of year. Let's just say this. Whether we like to admit it or not, especially, men, forgive me, we're emotional creatures. Humans are emotional creatures, all right? We let our emotions get the best of us sometimes. And either it will say something fantastic, but generally, if our emotions are taking over, we're going to be saying and blaming things on things that are not necessarily really real or really happening. To blame something on a man who's carrying a team on his back now for 2 years straight is a really tough deal. I have a really hard time with that. But I'm going to tell you something. This goes to Craig, goes to everybody else. You're welcome to your opinions. I wasn't sure if I liked the cat trade in the beginning because I like DiVincenzo so much and because I appreciated Randall when he was here and the fact that how hard he played. But when Cat got busy, I became a big fan. And as soon as you put on a Knicks jersey or a Mets jersey, you know what? I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of you because I'm a fan of the person on the front. So the fact is that you just got to just keep the faith. This series may not be easy as either one of us thought, Ron. I thought it was going to be a gentleman's sweep. I called it a 5-game gentleman's sweep. I'm not saying it can't be. It still could be. But somebody has to pull aside Tibbs, who, by the way, only lives for this. No wife, no kids. His kids are these players. He loves them. He loves this sport. But he might be getting a little outdated for it. Somebody has to pull him on the side and say, hey, man, this guy was on fire yesterday. Why didn't you use him? This guy. And that's who we lost when we lost the bench coach.
Johnny Bryant.
We lost that. That was a big part of it. So no matter what the emotions is, it's all love. We're one big family. We're Knicks family, like he said, with all the shows and whoever you like and whatever people said. But we're still Knicks fans here. And we call it as you see it. And we call it factual, actually factually. I had a great time tonight. Thank you for inviting me on here. And hope to be back, as I said. And Ron gives you fantastic stuff. I'll let him tell you when because he does a great job at it. But don't miss the shows. The shows are great where we all get to give our opinions as long as we're kind to each other and we're not calling each other out. You have your opinion. And I think that's fine. I think that's what the world should be. So I say peace and love. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. If you celebrate, I believe it's Hanukkah. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But if you do, God bless you. God bless everybody in general. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, my brother. Yeah, man. I just want to thank everybody once again for tonight's show. I know, look, we're some of us more emotional than others because obviously it's the playoffs. We just lost. Nobody wants to lose, especially when you feel like you're better than the team that you're playing. So it is what it is, guys. It's one game. No one thought it was going to be, a domination by the Knicks in this series. We knew even if we think they're going to win the games, they're going to be close games. It's going to be tough. So, we'll just go into the next one. Detroit is not some wild place to play. Like the Knicks can't win over there. The Knicks can definitely, and who knows, maybe, getting away from home and getting that road cooking might be a little better for the Knicks. Maybe they come out and play even better on the road. Less pressure, with the home fans behind you. Sometimes you get a little bit more pressure. So we'll see.
That's a good point.
Once again, thank you to oh, wow. Sorry. RIP to Pope Francis.
Yeah, it passed on earlier today.
That's right. Oh, man. Damn, Pope Francis has been around forever. Wow. That's crazy. RIP to the Pope. I didn't know that. I wanted to say that I appreciate you guys in the chat. Please smash that like button if you haven't, and if there's new people, hit the subscribe if you like what you're seeing and enjoy the content. But yeah, man, this is what it is, man. And even when we go back and forth, even me going back and forth with Craig is great. I go back and forth with Craig all the time, and Craig sends me messages all the time. We may have differences of opinion, but it is what it is. Sometimes we don't always see eye to eye. But that's the level of fandom that we have, and we just, but the good thing about Craig, as you guys can notice, I never go crazy against Craig. Craig is always respectful with me. It's not that thing. That's why I try to tell people, as long as you're respectful, you can say what you want. You can have a difference of opinion. Just keep it classy, baby.
Yeah. No, there's only a handful but anyway, we'll leave it like that.
Yeah. It is what it is. Leave it like that. We have our fun, man. And exactly, brother. Exactly. But listen, I just want to thank everybody once again. Appreciate you. Shout out to Stacks for renewing your SKF membership. Shout out to 713 Gamer for giving 5 people SKF Army memberships. Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Don't feel down, guys, because it's just one game. And like most of us thought, we thought the Knicks would go 4-1. All right, now they got some work to do. Now they got to get on a little bit of a roll for us to be right about our little our 4-1. 5 games, Knicks in 5. So we'll see what happens, man. But once again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Jay Chosen for being my special guest host today. Appreciate you. And you're always welcome, Jay. And believe me, something tells me you will be back. Even though we chop it up on Saturdays anyway, but something tells me you'll be back. But I'll definitely continue to give you guys some special guest hosts. Who knows? Maybe I'll give you like a really super special. Maybe next week I'll be here with Alan Hahn. Who knows? No, okay, I won't. But it'll be nice. You know what I mean?
You heard what he said. I'm not super special, but I'm not. It's fine.
I like extra, like somebody that I shouldn't be able to get on this.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I'm busting your chop.
Like for example, shout out to Nick of Time show with Jay Ellis and them over there. I think they had a watch party tonight, watching Game 2 with Wilson Chandler. So that's pretty dope. That's very dope, actually.
And you're I watched it the other day. I finally figured out Discord. The interview you did with SNY. What's his name?
Oh, with Dexter Henry. Oh yeah, cool.
Dexter Henry, yeah. If you didn't get a chance to see that, get on to Discord and check it out. It was a great interview, Ron.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you, brother. Hey, by the way,
kicking in.
Yes, it is. Oh, by the way, when you get a chance, bro, just take yourself out of. Why am I telling you this on live? You're in the lobby. Take yourself out of the lobby, so that way you don't have to worry about somebody jumping in and like
scared the crap. Oh my god.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's so
I jumped up and ran over there.
That is nuts, bro. That's so
I'll
funny.
talk to you about it. I'll figure it
out. All right. Anyway, thank you guys once again. Tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights at 9-ish, depending on what's going on, for SKF Weekly with myself, usually my brother John and my brother Jose on the 1s and 2s. But right now we got special guests filling in. Shout out to Jay Chosen once again. Appreciate you, Jay. Also, check us out on Saturdays at 11:30 for Know the Ledge, as I talk y'all off the ledge, and we have our great panel conversations with the whole familia, man. Everybody jumps in. It's a great time, great talks. So yeah, man, continue to support the shows. Continue to look for the shorts. You know, walking and talking with SKF is happening. So I'm out there in them streets, getting my cardio on, talking about Knicks. But yeah, man, don't guys, let's not get down. Remember, critiques and criticisms are a game by game thing, man. One you could be the heel one game and the goat the next. So don't even stress it, man. This is just one game to the next game until the next game. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully the Knicks can put the beat down on the Detroit Pistons in Detroit. I feel very confident about it. So we just gotta wait and see, guys. Wait and see. Anyway, once again, thank you guys. As I always say, you know what I mean? The good, the bad, the ups and downs, no matter what, we are still Knicks fans, guys. All right? Keep that in mind. Peace out on yourself. And also, be good. If you can't be good at it. There you go. All right. Have a good night, y'all. Catch y'all.
Good night, brother.
New York Knicks. First. Go Knicks.
We can finally, start playing, man. So much talk this whole summer. It's felt like so long because we've had so much to talk about. At times it's been kind of slow, but we've been talking, right? But we've actually had a really good off season for this New York Knicks team, and it's been very active. There's been a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Knicks family, we in the building. I am the Objective Fan from the Objective Knicks Fan channel. And I'm going to give a big salute to Ron and John from Still Knicks Fans.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Knicks family, I'm Stephanie, a.k.a. Blood Sports Talk. We are still Knicks.
What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Lady and the Chef, right to Knicks Chicks Podcast. Still a Knicks fan.
What's good, party people in the place to be? It's your main man.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve Box 21 at Two Knicks Chicks Podcast, and I'm still a Knicks fan.
Yo, this is your boy Sim from Nothing But Knicks. Through all the struggles, through all the heartache and pain, ladies and gentlemen, I am still a Knicks fan.
Peace, y'all. This is Apollo Reed from the Garden Knicks crew. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm still a Knicks fan.
I'm still here. We're still here. Still Knicks fans. It's a fandom. It's a lifestyle.